You are a survivor of 5 apocalypses. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs? Your ancestors lived through it. The eruptions that nearly sterilized the planet survived. The ice ages that buried continents under miles of frozen death. Your lineage made it. Every extinction event in the last 500 million years, events that collectively killed over 99% of all species that ever existed, failed to end your genetic line. You're reading this because an unbroken chain of survival stretches back billions of years. And you had no idea. Life on Earth is not a stable system. It's a survivor. Over the past 500 million years, there have been 5 mass extinction events. Planetary catastrophes that wiped out most life in geologically brief periods. Scientists call them the Big Five. Between them, they've killed an estimated 75 to 96% of all species each time. The worst, the Permian-Triassic extinction, left fewer than 4% of marine species alive. And yet, here you are. Not because you're special, because evolution doesn't work that way. You're here because your ancestors at every extinction event happen to have some trait or occupy some refuge or benefit from some luck that kept them alive. This isn't destiny, it's probability playing out over millions of years. If any single ancestor had died before reproducing, you wouldn't exist. But they didn't die. 5 times life nearly ended. 5 times something in your lineage found a way through. Let's meet your survival stories. Extinction Event 1. The Ordovician-Silurian, 444 million years ago. Your first apocalypse. During the Ordovician period, life was almost entirely marine. Your ancestors were fish-like creatures, primitive vertebrates swimming in ancient oceans. Then 2 pulses of extinction hit, possibly triggered by massive glaciation. Sea levels dropped dramatically as ice locked up ocean water. Ocean temperatures plummeted. Oxygen levels in the water crashed. About 85% of marine species vanished. Your ancestors, probably small, adaptable filter feeders, survived. Maybe they tolerated temperature extremes better than competitors. Maybe they lived in just the right depth range. Maybe luck. Whatever it was, they made it through, while the Ordovician's dominant species did not. Extinction Event 2. The Late Devonian, 372 million years ago. Your ancestors had spent 70 million years evolving. Some lineages were becoming early tetrapods, 4-limbed creatures venturing onto land. Then another extinction struck, multiple pulses over 20 million years. The cause is still debated. Volcanic activity, asteroid impacts, plants altering atmospheric chemistry. This time, 70 to 80% of species died. The ocean's oxygen levels collapsed in many regions, creating vast dead zones. Your ancestors survived again. They might have been among the early land dwellers, escaping the worst of the marine devastation, or deep-water survivors in oxygenated refugia. Records are unclear, but the line continued. Extinction Event 3. The Permian-Triassic, 252 million years ago. This was the big one. The Great Dying. 96% of marine species, 70% of land vertebrates. Gone. The Siberian Traps erupted, a volcanic event so massive that lava covered an area the size of Western Europe. The atmosphere filled with CO2 and sulfur. Temperatures spiked 10 degrees Celsius. Oceans acidified and lost oxygen. Life nearly ended entirely. Your ancestors were small proto-mammals called synapsids. Most synapsid lineages died, but a few, burrowers probably, animals that could shelter underground from the toxic atmosphere and temperature swings, survived. The world they emerged into was emptied. Almost nothing was left alive. From this devastation, mammals would eventually arise, including you. Extinction Event 4, the Triassic-Jurassic, 201 million years ago. Life recovered from the Permian catastrophe, then took another hit. The Central Atlantic magmatic province erupted as Pangaea began splitting apart. Massive volcanic activity released CO2 and greenhouse gases. Another 80% of species died. This extinction cleared the way for dinosaurs to dominate. But your ancestors, still small, still nocturnal, still hiding, survived. While dinosaurs grew gigantic, your mammalian lineage stayed tiny. For the next 135 million years, mammals lived in the shadows, rarely larger than a cat. This isn't failure. This is survival strategy. Being small meant needing less food, fitting into hiding spots, avoiding the attention of apex predators. Your ancestors learned to be insignificant. It kept them alive. Extinction Event 5, the Cretaceous-Paleogene, 66 million years ago. The famous one. An asteroid roughly 10 kilometers wide struck what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact released energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs. Wildfires swept continents. Dust blocked sunlight for months or years. Temperatures swung wildly. All non-avian dinosaurs died. So did most marine reptiles, flying reptiles, and countless other groups. In total, about 75% of all species vanished. But mammals survived. Again, smallness helped. Your ancestors could shelter in burrows, survive on insects and seeds, tolerate the darkness and cold. The world that had kept them suppressed for 150 million years suddenly opened up. Within a few million years, mammals radiated into every available niche. Whales, elephants, bats, primates, all descended from the survivors of that asteroid impact. The Sixth Extinction, now. Here's the uncomfortable part. Right now, we're in the middle of what many scientists call the sixth mass extinction. Unlike the previous 5, this one is caused by a single species. Us. Current extinction rates are estimated at 100 to 1,000 times higher than the natural background rate. Species are vanishing before we can even catalog them. Your survival record is impressive, but your species is now the extinction event. The traits that kept your ancestors alive, adaptability, intelligence, tool use, have made humanity so successful that we're driving other species to extinction. Whether we become victims of our own success remains to be seen. The Survivorship Illusion. Here's what makes this disturbing. You only exist because of luck. Each extinction event killed randomly. Some species survived through geographic chance, being in a region less affected. Some survived through traits that happened to be useful for conditions they never evolved for. Some survived through sheer improbability. If the asteroid had hit a few hours earlier or later, different rotation position, different location, different species might have survived. Different lineages would exist. You probably wouldn't. Your existence is contingent on a chain of unlikely survivals. Any link breaking would erase you from possibility. The Great Filter. This has implications beyond Earth. Enrico Fermi famously asked, "If the universe is full of potential for life, where is everyone? Why haven't we detected alien civilizations?" One answer: mass extinctions might be universal. Every planet with life might face periodic catastrophes. On most planets, life might not survive enough of them to develop intelligence. Or intelligence itself might be a filter. Perhaps technological species tend to destroy themselves through war, environmental collapse, or accidents we can't imagine. Earth has had life for 4 billion years. Complex life for 540 million years. Human civilization for 10,000 years. Technological civilization for maybe 200. We've survived 5 mass extinctions. Can we survive what we're doing to ourselves? The near misses. Extinction events aren't just ancient history. Near-extinction events happened throughout human existence. About 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano erupted in Indonesia. Some genetic evidence suggests human population crashed to perhaps 10,000 individuals, a bottleneck that nearly erased us. We've survived ice ages, plagues, famines, and wars. Each time, some humans made it through, and the species continued. Your personal lineage extends through all of these. Every one of your ancestors survived to reproduce. The survival trait. What kept your ancestors alive? Different things at different times. Sometimes smallness, sometimes flexibility, sometimes geographical luck, sometimes pure randomness. But one trait appears consistently: adaptability. Your lineage includes creatures that could shift diets, change behaviors, move to new environments, tolerate stress. Rigidly specialized species tend to die in mass extinctions. Generalists tend to survive. And humans are perhaps the ultimate generalists. We live on every continent. We eat almost everything. We modify our environment to suit ourselves. This isn't guarantee of survival. Plenty of adaptable species have gone extinct, but it's the best trait we could have inherited. Your responsibility. You carry an inheritance of survival billions of years old. Every extinction event that could have ended your line didn't. That doesn't make you special, it makes you lucky. And it creates a strange responsibility. The lineage that survived 5 apocalypses now has the power to cause the 6th, or prevent it. What your ancestors couldn't control, you can. The survival story isn't over. You're writing the next chapter. 5 mass extinctions, billions of years. Countless ancestors who survived when most life didn't. You are the current endpoint of an unbroken chain stretching back to the first living cell. Every survival, every adaptation, every lucky escape, all of it led to you sitting here. This isn't mystical, it's evolutionary history. The cold, mathematical reality of what it takes for any complex being to exist. You didn't choose your survival, but you inherited it. And what you do with that inheritance affects what survives next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable post notifications.